Well, scientists have unearthed a 100 million year old dinosaur fossil in Western Queensland. 100 million years.
Imagine a world where kangaroos were the size of small cars and giant flightless birds walked the streets. Prehistoric Australia wasn't just a different place, it was a different planet. So what were the wildest things found in prehistoric Australia? Here are 4 of the wildest things found in prehistoric Australia, starting with giant birds. Scientists in Australia have made an exciting discovery in the dusty ground of South Australia near a dried-up lake called Lake Callabonham. This remote place is known for trapping ancient animals in its old mud. Lead scientist Dr. Phoebe McInerney from Flinders University in Adelaide was carefully digging around when she found something incredible, a complete skull. She described the moment as so satisfying, saying, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. We actually found one." You can sense her excitement. Think of a regular goose, and then imagine it as big as a small car. This bird, called Genyornis newtoni, lived a long time ago. We're talking 45,000 to 50,000 years. This wasn't your average backyard bird. Rather, it was a mini jet weighing about 230 kilograms. Can you even picture that? It was examined by looking at the shape of its skull. They could guess at a tough plant material and aquatic plants. It had large eyes with holes that revealed how well it could see. This bird was like a detective. It could see far and wide, which could have made gathering food easy. Even though scientists have known about this giant bird for 128 years, they had very little idea of what its head really looked like. That's because the only skull found was damaged, with hardly any real bone left, defeating the possibility of practically learning about it. But in 2019, everything changed. This amazing skull, measuring 32 centimeters, 1 foot, wasn't found by itself. It was still attached to almost the entire fossilized body of the bird. After more than a century of guessing, they finally had a complete head to study. Guess what? They had some seriously impressive features. For starters, they had a massive cranium, which is the part of the skull that holds the brain. Think of it as a really big head. Not only that, they also had large upper and lower jaws, meaning they could open their mouths wide. But here's the most interesting thing. This creature had this unusual casque, kind of like a helmet, on the top of its head, a feature scientists found to be unique to this bird only. This giant goose also had a wide gap so that they could open their mouth really wide and give a deadly bite. These incredible birds were some of the last of the mihirungs, also known as thunderbirds, that were native to Australia. They roamed the outback at the same time as other giant creatures like huge lizards and kangaroos. But these weren't the only oversized versions of modern animals. Many prehistoric Australian creatures possessed unique features and exceptional behavioral patterns. Stenorine kangaroos, also known as short-faced kangaroos, lived in Australia around 42,000 years ago. Unlike modern kangaroos, they had short snouts, powerful jaws and teeth, and skulls built for their tough diet. A researcher named Rex Mitchell from the University of Arkansas developed a computer model of the skull of an extinct kangaroo species, Simus occidentalis. The purpose of this digital reconstruction, published in the journal PLOS ONE, was to analyze and determine the biting force of this ancient animal. There were a lot of unanswered questions his research was supposed to solve. Past studies highlighted the strong jaws of Simus occidentalis. However, Mitchell suggested that for such a powerful bite, used for processing tough woody plants, the animal would have also required a robust skull structure. These herbivores' evolution was unique and different to that of modern kangaroos and wallabies. These were creatures shaped by unique environmental pressures, leading to some truly wild adaptations, and there are more like them, even more ferocious. A particular species of crocodile that existed 40 million years ago has been unearthed in tropical Australia, closing a gap in the evolution of other crocodiles discovered before it. Miners in the northern state of Queensland discovered 2 virtually complete skulls and a lower jaw of a species of a crocodile known as Macusakini. Lucas Buchanan from Monash University in Australia led the team in studying the bones of this awesome beast. This discovery might finally explain some of the weird things about the Macusakini group and why they eventually went into extinction. Unlike their modern relatives, this Macusakini crocodile, though still a formidable hunter, likely possessed a more slender snout and perhaps a more agile build. Its teeth, while sharp and numerous, might have been adapted for a slightly different diet than the broad-muzzled crocodiles we see today. This creature was roughly 2 meters in length, navigating the waterways and dense vegetation. Its eyes, positioned high on its head, would have given it excellent all-round vision, crucial for ambushing prey. The exceptionally preserved nature of these fossils is particularly significant because it allows researchers to piece together not just the skull structure, but also infer details about its overall size, bite force, and even potentially its behavior. The discovery helps fill a crucial gap in our understanding of how these ancient crocodile lineages diversified and adapted over millions of years, painting a richer picture of life in Australia's distant past. What other secrets are still hiding underground? Before now, scientists had only ever found one seal fossil at a spot. However, this time, they hit a gold mine. They discovered a treasure trove of super rare fossils, including some ancient seals. Turns out, some sharp-eyed local scientists and everyday folks have been collecting these amazing discoveries for the past 88 years and generously donated them to Museums Victoria. This discovery of ancient seal fossils at Beaumaris wasn't just about digging up the past. They showed us how amazing these varieties of big sea creatures first came into existence and the changes that have happened in them over the years. These seals were smaller in size, around 1.5 meters, and they had no external ears. Fossil evidence also shows they have skull fragments, vertebrae, and teeth, which indicate that they were of the Monachini subfamily. Looking back at this incredible array of prehistoric life, it's clear that Australia's ancient past was truly wild. And to further illustrate this point, let's consider another extraordinary discovery, but with a difference. Back in the Lightning Ridge opal fields of New South Wales, about a quarter of a century ago, a paleontologist, Elizabeth Smith, and her daughter Clytie made a significant discovery. While searching for opals, they unearthed fossils dating back to the Cenomanian age of the Cretaceous period, a time when dinosaurs still roamed, specifically between 102 million and 96.6 million years ago. A strange prehistoric species that was half platypus, half echidna. Scientists went on to name it Echidnapus, believing the egg-laying mammal thrived in Australia approximately 100 million years ago. These ancient remains were generously donated to the Australian Museum by Smith. For roughly 23 years, they remained tucked away in a drawer holding secrets of a bygone era. Then approximately 2 years ago, Professors Flannery and Chris Helgen, the chief scientist and director of the Australian Museum Research Institute, came across 3 forgotten specimens. During their examination, they identified some of the fossils as belonging to Steropodon galmani, a known ancestor of the modern platypus. These researchers also discovered evidence of numerous other ancient and now extinct monotreme species. It's like discovering a whole new civilization, says Professor Tim Flannery, lead author of the paper published in El Chiringa, an Australasian journal of paleontology. However, their investigation took an exciting turn. Several other fossils presented unfamiliar characteristics, sparking a thrilling possibility. Could these unique remains point to creatures previously unknown to science? The meticulous work of these professors confirmed their suspicions, as these mysterious fossils led to the groundbreaking discovery of not just one, but 3 entirely new species that once inhabited the ancient Australian landscape.